The ears we can pull out, but we need to learn a couple of more tricks. So we've evaluated most of the brush system, okay, and we've evaluated, not most, I should say, we evaluated the primary tools that you need. So we looked at the move brush, standard brush, clay buildup, and Damien standard brush. We also learned that if you press Alt, then you're pushing in. Sorry, wrong. Alt you push in, not Alt you are pulling out, depending on Z add or Z sub. Let me introduce you to something new. So just change your brains, and we're going to look at a new feature, and that's masks. How do you use masks inside of ZBrush? Well, you press Control and you paint a mask on the model. Okay? Or when you press Control, if you come up to the brush palette, you can actually see you've got some options for different types of masks. So right now, I want to just focus on a very simple mask pin. I'm also going to, in the tool palette, open up the masking subpalette. Alright, and this is where you're going to control masks. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, as you can see by all of the features: cavity, intensity, saturation, ambient occlusion. But we're just going to focus on these controls up here at the top, and that's it. So I'm going to clear the mask, look at it from a side view, and I'm going to paint where I think the ears should go. So I'm going to paint a simple shape, pressing Control, clicking and dragging. And then to unpaint, you press Control, start to paint, and then, well, just press Control and Alt. Let's say it that way. To unpaint, Control, Alt, and start to carve in. Sometimes it might be more useful to do that with perspective off, then I get a better sense of things. Okay, I want that ear to slope back slightly. There. Okay, I spent too much time on that, but to show you the different ways to go about it. Now I'm going to invert the mask, or you can Control click to invert it. Don't click and drag, because that clears it. Undo. But just Control click and it inverts. Now for this, when you use masks like this, it's good to switch to the move brush, go to draw size, and pull out. It's also good to do this at a lower subdivision level and really large draw size. Just get it out in this very simple way. Okay, turn perspective on, and now I'm going to pull in the interior, or just smooth it. It's as simple as that. Careful not to destroy this line in the back, though. So there, we got ears on our guy. So we've pulled them out with a mask. Control, click and drag. The mask goes away, and now we can go in and start to adjust and sculpt the form. You're going to want to sculpt it at your higher subdivision levels, so you're just going to drag this slider, or you can press D. D as in dog. So Shift D, you go down the subdivision levels. D, you go up the subdivision levels. And one of the great brushes for doing this is, I would say, is clay buildup. And so in terms of the anatomy of the ear, we're going to have two forms. We're going to have the helix, the antihelix. We're going to have the tragus, and then the antitragus earlobe. So what I'm going to do with clay buildup is just push in the antihelix here, and then I come in and push in the inside of the ear, and this is where build-up feature is really quite nice, because it just pushes that in. So again, what I ended up doing was I pushed in the inner part of the eye, and then I'm pushing in the helix. No, sorry, the antihelix. Okay, and then I might come around the back and push in and separate out the the ear from the rest of the face. Okay, this part the topology gets really bad when you do this with clay buildup. So I'm going to undo, or I'm going to smooth it out and show you another way to do this. Okay, I'm just sculpting in where the helix goes. Helix comes and inserts into the ear in there. And then separate out. Yeah, there we go. Just getting that under part of the helix and how it's going to connect with the anti-helix. Carving in some of the shape underneath the anti-helix. Make sure my tragus has some nice form, and the anti-tragus. And separate out the helix and the anti-helix all the way down. Okay. I'm going to be okay with that for the moment. I'm just smoothing everything out. And now, in order to make this really successful, I need to really adjust the back. So that's where masks come in handy again, because you just draw out this mask. So I press Control, about like that. Yeah. Okay. Control click to invert it. Switch over to the move brush and pull it in. So remember, it's Control click to invert, and this really avoids the brush system and any artifacting that might result. Remember, I'm pushing down, up, and then inside. Okay, that's how I'm going to do that. And my draw size is going to be designed to make the push as global of a change as possible, so that I'm not really getting in there and negotiating any tight corners. Okay. Control click and drag to clear, and Shift smooth, and Shift smooth, but be careful, you know, don't go smoothing too much. And now with this part down here, I can come into, say, Damien's standard brush and take care of the rest, I think. And then from a front view, we can get rid of these Dumbo ears. So move and just flatten. Still got more shaping to do. One of the really interesting things about the anti-helix is how it's going to kind of pull out and overlap the helix in some capacities. But I'm not going to get in and spend too much time on that ear. Just going to note that we're taking that anti-helix, and that's going to have a little bit more form running into that helix. Okay. So from a side or front view, we look okay. From a side view, how are we lining up? Let's check measurements. So height and width, and let's say depth, I should say, and then the halfway point. You're in okay shape. Ear could get changed a bit, make that a little, yeah, I like that a little better. Okay, that brow is the forehead's quite high, so I'm going to start to slope that a little bit more masculine if it's sloped. But I'm not sure that's the right path. Hard to say. I'd say the next element that's going to throw me is the nasal bone. So I'm going to get that arched in a little bit, start to take down the form a touch. Okay, so everything done. I think we're in okay shape, and that's a good look at what you can use masks to help you with.